You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building today.
Yes, a very interesting individual, if I do say so myself.
Goes by the name of Jerrod Carmichael.
What's happening, everybody?
We didn't even start. He already asked about my cat.
Yeah.
Her vagina or what? What kind of cat? What are you
So
talking about?
I
inappropriate.
wouldn't be so forward. You know, we just met and so rude. I was talking about it was for good luck. I was trying to figure out what
Yeah,
that
my
was.
cat.
Oh, it's like one of what is it? The Chinese cat, right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
It's just for good
For the people that
fortune.
can't see it at home.
It's prosperous. It's just a little golden and red cat. He shakes his hands. He's giving me some good luck.
The arm just never stops shaking.
It looks like it's jerking somebody off.
No, it doesn't.
I thought it was like ringing in the new year.
Oh,
They
okay.
had a monkey this year.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Or is it supposed to be like?
So in China, the monkey means like it's
Good
good
luck,
luck, like
prosperous,
prosperous. Yeah.
It's going to be a
okay.
good year for some people. Last year was a very unfortunate year financially, but they said this year's going to be a lot better.
Oh,
The
nice.
year of
Yeah,
the
it's not a
monkey.
racial thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like some black people got offended. DeMarcus Cousins got offended because he saw the shirts at the game.
Yeah.
And it had the monkey on the shirt, and he was like, he thought that was offensive during Black History Month.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
difficult?
yeah.
People get offended so easily over things.
Oh, this guy offends people all the time. Jerrod Carmichael. Have you not seen his stand up?
Yeah.
You just don't care, huh?
I mean, what are we? The internet's not a real place. What are we
It's not a
afraid
real
of?
place.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, you just have to be honest. You want to get up. I'm not purposely offensive. I'm never like, all right, well, you know, this is gonna piss these people off. It's just, you know, you speak honestly, and it's a lot of times really subversive and like a different message than what some people hear.
Now, I honestly thought you was a troll at first. When I saw your stand-up special with Spike Lee. But everybody heard a lot about you. Neil Brennan used to talk about you all the time. Like, hey, I gotta watch the Jerrod kid. So I saw the special. I'm like, I don't think I like Jerrod Carmichael. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that?
It was a lot of things. The
Yeah.
Trayvon Martin joke.
Yeah,
You know.
What was the Trayvon Martin joke? Because it pissed a lot of people off, I see.
yeah. Listen, good. That's great. You know what I mean? Like it's like I did that initially, and very honestly, just as like this challenge to make it's things that wake people up, you know, and it's a thing that I'm said with truly all due respect to, like to say, some things like, you know, unfortunately you have to like spell out and like, yeah, I'm black and I've gone through this, and of course I relate to like every time these deaths happen, it hurts, right? Mm-hmm. But also that challenge is so that we don't sensationalize it and make it a cool, popular thing. It challenges how you really feel about it. And it's like making, with protesting, with everything, it's so easy for it to become in vogue, and you know, and for it to just be like, you know, a T-shirt or a hashtag
yeah.
or
I always
or
say
something
that
like
people
that.
put up a hashtag and think they did something.
Yeah, like everybody doesn't dedicate their life to it, like DeRay or like Netta, you know, who are like fantastic. We had dinner, we talked about like, but a lot of people don't. So it's this challenge. Like, do you really care? If you really listen to what I'm saying, I'm asking, do you really care? Mm-hmm. You don't care, and of course you use humor, and people. You know, people think that humor is dismissive. I think it's the most thoughtful way to analyze something. You know, to be able to try and use humor even in the darkest place, I think it's the most thoughtful thing you could possibly do.
Well, with that being said, what did you think about Chris Rock hosting the Oscars and all the controversy that happened after that?
It's great. Should we not have a presence there? You know, like should we remove the presence there? Like our black entertainers. Obviously, it goes without saying, are like the greatest entertainers ever,
Without
right?
question.
Without question, right? Where we're at our best is in competition. We like
In
when
adversity.
Yes, absolutely. And when you think of Sammy Davis Jr., you think of Sidney Poitier, you think of Denzel, you think of really every black actor, every black musician, or whatever you do. It's always when you see what isn't black art, and then you master that, you know, mastering art that's even outside, like when it's too separate, then it doesn't challenge us anymore, and we have to be. So of course Chris Rock should be at the Oscars.
So you didn't have a problem with anything that he said, whether, you know, because
Yeah,
people
like-
were pissed
Have you
about
heard
the
Jerrod?
lynching.
Have you heard Jerrod? Jerrod has a rape joke. Jerrod is the only comedian who I've heard.
But here's the thing.
Attempt
So
to
so
rape
here's the
joke.
thing. So here's the thing. This is what it is, right? It's first of all, like my humor, it comes from this realization that everything that's happened good for me, like has come out of a result of being challenged, out of challenging thinking. out of challenging boundaries, and out of questioning everything, right?
True.
So my job as a comedian, as a humorist, as a whatever, is to, for me, I look at it as like, how do you challenge people? The rape joke, right? The rape joke sounds dismissive. It's a more of an internal challenge. It's a question. I'll say, if you were being raped in an alley and you looked up and you saw a shooting star, would you use your one wish to stop that rape immediately, or would you see the big picture and wish for $1 million, right? Because you could see that past it. It's all within that is a challenge of, all right, well, what's more important to you?
Well, what would you do
at this moment?
If you were getting raped in the alley, Jerrod, man got his penis all in your buttocks.
Yeah, that's
shooting star.
Yeah.
What are you wishing for?
You see a shooting star,
And you're not rich. You're not.
But that's the hard.
We'll give him $50 million, or.
But here's the thing. But that's the even like in that moment you're like, well, what do you do? Start like that. It's more of it's a dilemma. I've seen audiences respond. Like I've seen men and women in the audience just go and like look at each other and like hit each other and like.
So what do you do?
What would I do? I would wish for a $300 billion.
You don't have that option.
But I mean, you can't. I mean, but
so there's a
I
price
said an
on your
amount of money.
ass.
I said an amount of money.
I mean, I'm already in the situation. He already got me. He already can say he raped me. His penis is in me.
No, let's say it hasn't entered. It's about
to enter.
Oh, that's different then. I mean, that's different. But if he's already in me, I'm definitely gonna wish for the money.
But here's the thing. So remove from the surface of even that, right? Just the fact that that joke led to 10 other questions is what humor is for.
True.
That's the whole point.
How did you think of that though? Like what was your what made you think of that? When you raped it?
No, I was talking. You know, the crazy thing is I was talking to this girl. We were sitting down. We're eating, and she had mentioned something about it in my comic mind, just challenging everything. I was like, but I wonder. It's always just this question. And it was a direct question to someone. At dinner, and that's where
so
it
was
from.
I get it. Y'all was talking about rape, and then you're what
and
if
it was
getting raped?
And I was just like, well, what about that? Because it's always all right. You see a thing, and it's like my job is to challenge it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's funny because I think about even going back to like the special and my favorite thing is a lot of people got it and understood what I was doing. I would see. I would get emails or get messages or whatever, and it's just like, and it's always the second time. It's always like the first time watching, I thought you were anti this and anti that, and then the second time I was like, oh, I get it now. There are certain people. I had an older woman that grabbed me. It was just like, I understand.
You know when I started to get your humor? When I started watching the Carmichael show. Carmichael show is hilarious. To me. But the reason it's hilarious because you can put a viewpoint like that out there, but you have other people around you that challenge that viewpoint. It's all.
If you look at my show, it's all it's the same argument that I'm having. It's the same internal argument, but now my perspective is in every character in the show.
Right.
So I'll say something to David Allen Greer, and then David Allen Greer gives the other side, which is sometimes another joke that I have.
Absolutely.
Which is the other side of the argument. But I like to choose the more subversive one because here's the thing. Once again, it's all thought. The biggest challenge that I found for me, black people like me that grew up like me, are these boxes, right? And like these boxes that you live in, and once again, the best things in my life came through a challenge, came through questioning everything. And for me, it's like if I can somehow expand consciousness by saying, hey, you can think like this. You can think removed from even the parameters of how you're supposed to think. Like if humor can do that in some sort, in some sense, try and expand consciousness on any level. Then
Are there certain things that you're like, I just can't make a joke about this?
I don't. Once again, it's never.
Or not just a joke, but are there certain things that you feel like it's off
rape and Trayvon Martin? Of course
he
not.
talks about anything. Goodness gracious.
No, but I'm saying I'm sure there has to be
But here's the
times
thing: if it has a purpose, but once again, this is where it becomes empty. This is where it becomes empty is when I wouldn't be able to even explain what it is if it was just
trolling.
If it's a shock, but I wouldn't be able to articulate. Yeah. Oh, well, I was doing that because you can't, people will say rape things a lot. What's disgusting is when you just say it for the shock value and there's no thought involved. Once again, it's never to be, I'm not really. I'm not like a disrespectful person,
Right.
you know. And I never want to like disrespect anyone. I bring up names as references. I bring up these things as challenges, but it's never with the intention of being disrespectful.
How challenging is NBC for you, though, with certain things that you might want to? Like, I know you have the Bill Cosby episode that you've been talking about for season 2.
That's a struggle that we all face. You know what I mean? The fact that it is all these allegations about Bill, but then we're still fans of Cosby. So,
and then there's some people who think that these women are all lying. And
I don't think all of them are lying.
No, some people think that. Some people
of them.
really believe the whole thing is a conspiracy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just hard because some people are saying things like, oh, Bill Cosby is trying to buy a major network, so they're trying to bring him down. Where are all these?
Well, he tried to buy that network.
No.
25 years.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Is that a real struggle for you, though? With still being a fan of Bill?
Yeah, of course, because it's once again, it's that challenge. You can't we're pretending that we can shut things off, and we can pretend that it's like, all right, well now I don't like the Cosby Show, and that's untrue.
Right.
You know, that's just not true. Like you don't, you know, and these are horrible allegations. So it's like it's that dilemma. That's what the episode's about.
Are you able to separate how you feel about the person? Because you've been to his house before, right? Did you?
Yeah.
Is that true? I read that in Variety. I didn't know if it was true.
Yeah. I went over and had a great conversation. You know what I mean, about comedy.
You had to be dumb young though, because you 28 now?
Yeah.
So how old were you then?
I was. I don't remember, 25, maybe 24.
Did he offer you a cappuccino?
He did not. It was bottled, sealed water.
So what did he talk to you about?
We talked about comedy. We talked about sitcoms. You know, it's like that's, you know, like that. The thing is, like, even meeting him personally, our relationship is it's kind of the same as us as fans, where it's comedy. You know, I talked to him about, you go to Bill Cosby's house and you're a comic, you talk about comedy. Yeah. You have a sitcom, you talk about a sitcom. I'd started developing at that point with NBC, and he'd heard about it, and we came over and we discussed that. And
that sounds like an Illuminati meeting. Like you got that blessing, like, you're good, Jerrod.
How did you get the show? How did you get your show?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Who did you sleep with? Get your show dropped.
That's always the thought in Hollywood, right? Everyone's just like, all right, well,
you're
what
either
did
in
you
the Illuminati or you're doing gay favors according to Cat Williams.
Oh man, I did.
Who?
I did. That's funny. I did a stand up in Montreal, and I met some people from studios, and we got a deal. I mean, it was
That's
really
that
early
big festival, right? What's it called?
The Comedy Festival, Montreal. Comedy Festival, and you know, this guy Robbie Praw books it, put me on like some really cool show. I was actually doing Neil Brennan's show at the time, and studios were there, and they liked my perspective, and we started talking, and you know, you just meet with networks, and I had an idea for what I thought a show would look like, and that was it.
Now I hear a lot of comics say guys like you and my man Pete Davidson, y'all have received success too fast. Like y'all didn't really put in the work.
Like, what is too fast? What does that mean?
I don't know. That's what I be wanting to know. Like I always say, like, yo, if they get a shot.
Yeah. I mean, that's
you're not gonna be like, oh, this is happening too fast. Let me not.
But problem number one right there, right, is that would you say that with anything else, if Martin Luther King graduated, you know, went to college at 15, you do it too fast. You know what I mean? He did what was in his path.
Right.
He did what was right for him. That's with any career. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, you guys rise up in the ranks in your profession, I'm sure quicker than, y'all still young. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's quicker than Casey Kasem would say, you're supposed to get it. You know what I mean? You know, like, I'm sure Casey Kasem would be like, Charlamagne, this young, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it too fast? It's successful. People enjoy you. You know, like, is Pete Davidson, he goes on, we just did sets together at the Comedy Cellar last night. He's one of my closest friends. He did very well. I think I did very well. I don't think a single audience member would tell you that it was too fast.
Now, I read your New York Times article.
Okay.
And I wonder, when did you realize that you didn't just want to make people laugh, but you wanted to challenge the way people think?
Always, because that's where humor came from for me. You know, like humor, it came from, once again, it's like consciousness. Like it's all like when I was in 8th grade, like discovering humor and as an outlet and as a skill came from a teacher that had me read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and he had me read and like reading those things, it the more my mind, like the more I learned, the more like I challenged things, the funnier things became in this weird sense, because to be able to make light, you have to really have understanding. And in order to find, Neil Brennan described a joke as an air, a pocket of air, while you're drowning, right? And it's just like, to find those pockets of air, you have to know, the body of water.
Now, Neil Brennan also said that you have to learn to shoot the basket in the right goal. He said that you got a good shot, but you shoot in the wrong basket.
He said that, no, he said that about.
I thought it was you. He said
that about Jamar, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe he said.
I thought it was you.
Yeah,
it was you.
I don't know. Well,
it was definitely you. I heard it on the Chance podcast.
I would respectfully disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Neil, but I think once again, it's like I try and do everything with intention.
Who do you look up to as far as comedians? I know we all have our favorites that we grew up like, oh, he's my favorite. Who would you say is your?
I mean, where do we start? I mean, it's different kinds and it's different outlets. Richard Pryor obviously is very influential to comedy as a whole. You read Mark Twain. I love Jack Benny. Bill
what was
Cosby.
your favorite?
Mark Twain was a comedian?
Well, it's satire. Like it's all in the same thing.
Gotcha.
That's how I view comedy as as I think we're capable of more. Like for me, even if you look at like the special, it's all deliberate. It's all it's rougher. It's more rugged. I got Spike Lee because I wanted it to be a documentary. I wanted it to be rougher. I wanted it to be like I didn't want it to be just surface things. And the same thing with my humor. I don't want it to just be this surface thing that's
Cat
really
Williams?
empty to me. As far as
Inspiration.
I think he's really great. When Cat is
You just don't want him to swing on you when he see you.
Oh no, I mean, you know what's funny? I met Cat once and he was very kind. I remember at the Comedy Store, he gave me a hug. He said he really liked my comedy.
Or
That was our one interaction. And yeah, I mean, you hear the stories or whatever. I just pay attention to what he does on stage. Like he kills it. He goes. He's one of the most your attention is drawn to him. He captures your attention, like genuinely captures it for the entire time he's on stage.
now, Spike Lee didn't like your Trayvon Martin joke.
No, yeah, we had a battle but once again, it was I heard him out. We talked about intention. We talked about what it was. We talked about intention versus perspective.
Yeah,
and he was afraid that people wouldn't understand. And I was willing to risk that because once again, I'm like, I have genuine faith that if you don't get it, you'll come around to it and you'll understand what it is. And, I'll release more.
Have you ever been influenced by somebody to change something that you said after that? I know you have your own, reasons why you do it. It's subversive. But has anybody ever come to you and said, okay, this happened to me. This was inappropriate. And you said, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
No, because if you come to me and you say, hey, if you can articulate why I shouldn't say this, then that means it made you think enough to have an argument, which is all the more reason for me to say it.
So what was Spike's reason for not wanting to do the Trayvon?
It was perception. He was like, he was like black people.
They look at you as a race traitor.
Yeah. They'll look at it, and I was like, no, I was like, of course some, like, of course, you know what I mean, like, but I'm hoping that challenges them, and once again, like. I really, anytime someone says that, I'm always like, watch it again.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at it again. Like, I promise you'll see if you ever watched Stephen Colbert, they had his show, and it was, he played this character that was so Republican, but it was really to criticize from within, and it was the genuine meaning
the original
of
show.
Subversive.
The Comedy Central,
the Comedy Central version of it, and it's like that type of humor. It's like, a lot of times, like from within, like it's all a challenge. So we had that conversation with Spike that bled into somehow we got into, I remember this back and forth about gentrification, and then I called about because the irony was like our conversation got cut short because he had to leave Martha's Vineyard. He was like, I got to fly to Martha's Vineyard. I was just like, you could talk to me about you.
Did you have to tell Spike, I can get another director, right?
Well, no, I like that. Once again, I like that.
You don't want people to just let it go. You
I like
to have that conversation.
we respectfully disagreed, and he was like, well, because I was new, and it's hard when you're new, and it's just like, you know, you can easily run the risk of people thinking you're one thing and dismissing you, right?
Gotcha.
But it was once again, it's like it's not fun for me unless it really makes someone.
So what was
think.
the Trayvon Martin joke? Because I didn't say what was the joke.
Do you want to give up the joke? I mean, it's on a
It's
special.
not-
You
well,
can watch
once
it.
again,
It's on a special,
to be honest with you, like when you listen to it, the biggest part is you don't care. I point at audience members and I'm like, you don't care, do you? I'm like, you don't care that
If he wants you to tell the joke, let's act like you're on stage.
No, because I didn't say it. So
But I don't even think I can verbatim.
It was like you were walking in a hotel. You was walking in your building.
Well, that was
With a
actually
hoodie on and they didn't stop
that's a
you.
removed that's a
Right.
removed thing of like I was talking about walking in my building and with a hoodie on and my doorman didn't stop me, and I was like don't basically telling the doorman is just like, you see me coming in like this, stop me. That's the point of me living
Stand
in this
your
building
ground.
living in this building with the gate, right? And that's coming from a true irony of that so many people feel. You live in these buildings and you know, and it's like also, mind you, I am one of these people that I'm saying don't stop. Even within the joke, I am the person
Right.
telling them to stop. It's the irony of
But the
the
truth is,
irony of
it's
the whole
like in a
thing.
neighborhood where Charlemagne or Envy live. If you see somebody that you feel like, as you guys have said before,
I've called the police on plenty of guys.
right?
In
But
hoodies.
those are
Yeah,
you.
neighborhood.
But
and
that's
you guys
but
are
that's
successful.
that's the challenge. That's the truth. You know what I mean? But so here's the thing. Once again, you talk about challenging Black consciousness, right? The fact that there's this rule, we're not allowed to even joke or say that or say these things that we all genuinely feel. If you live in this situation, you genuinely feel it. I said it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I said it, then it's this, well, you're not supposed to say it because you're not, it's so many rules.
Don't you hate that? I hate
With
when
being
somebody says to you, you know what, you bring up a good point, but now's not the time.
Yeah,
So when
well,
is it ever a good time
I
to
mean,
make a point?
you know, if not now, when? You know, it's a good quote from Dr. King. Like, if not now, when can we challenge? When can we expand consciousness?
Yeah, like people got
At
upset.
what point?
People got upset at me yesterday because I called Nancy Reagan a trap queen. I'm like, she's the original trap queen. If you believe that her husband did help facilitate
No, they got
crack
mad at you
cocaine all through
because
America.
He didn't say rest in peace, Nancy
I did say
Reagan.
rest in
He
peace.
didn't
said-
give.
I absolutely said
That
rest
was
in
like the
peace.
small part of it. It was almost like rest in peace, but you know
Yeah.
your husband put crack in the community.
That's not what I said.
But
Yeah.
you noticed
That's
that.
not
the
how I
other-
said it.
What did you say?
I'll read it to you
Read it.
verbatim. I'll read it to you verbatim. Okay, I want you to tell me if I went too far, Jerrod.
Okay.
He's gonna say no.
This is
You
verbatim.
can't ask him that.
No,
All right.
I mean, because
This
once
is-
again,
this is the first one. I put this meme of Ronald Reagan that says, "Remember me? I helped put crack cocaine in the hood," and I put "Rest in peace" to President Reagan's wife Nancy.
So why he had to put Reagan in the crack? He could have just said rest in peace.
That's his legacy. You can't. You
That's
can't.
not. But she was died. That's
Listen,
not her
and then my
legacy.
second one was, did President Ronald Reagan permit the sale of tons of cocaine into the American inner city during the height of the crack crisis? Did he turn a blind eye to the Iran-Contra affairs web of gun running, terror support, and narco trafficking? Did he facilitate a problem and then let his wife get famous with a simple solution? Just say no.
Yeah.
Was Nancy Reagan the OG trap queen?
yeah,
What's
I
wrong
mean,
with that?
here's
Oh,
the
like you
and I
said,
put rest in
so
peace.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
No,
I
he
mean,
said rest in
listen.
peace.
I mean, and it's the balance of that I have to go through. You want to be respectful. You want to be, you know, I mean, people die, and you want to respect that. It's obviously tragic. You also you never want to lose sight, which is a lot of times as culture we get caught up in a thing and we lose sight of a thing. And here's the thing. I mean, should we not challenge that? Like, is that not a real thing? You know, like,
It's
I
still
mean,
truth.
when it goes into lie territory, that's when it's really a problem. But if you're speaking honestly, once again, it's that balance. You want to be respectful, but you didn't say it for the sake. If you said it just for the sake of, you know, and it didn't have this intention behind it to remind people,
Yes.
you know, which is still, I mean, a huge issue now. I mean, you look at the incarceration rate for black men, and I mean, we don't have to go into the numbers. We all know like how horrible that is, and for, you know, laws implemented during the Reagan administration, and and are we supposed to forget? You know, like
Right.
we can't forget that. And if this is an opportunity to remind people, and if this makes you go too far, and this wakes people up, because I guarantee no one else, if you wouldn't have posted that, people wouldn't have questioned it. And
No.
now I'm thinking about drug laws, and like maybe maybe one of us will be inspired enough to go do something.
And it's election season, so you got to look and see whose policies could be similar to his, because you don't want to vote for that person.
Yeah.
Now you also have an interesting take on America's racist legacy and slavery.
Yeah. It's the irony of we do reap benefits of being in America, right? Like we reap the benefits of it, and obviously, once again, it's if I gave a disclaimer before every joke, first of all, it would have been a 3-hour special.
Like, yo, no disrespect to Africa.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, slavery was a terrible system. Many died. Our ancestors that we love and respect. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Africa is obviously a place that's been, ravaged by, imperialists. I could go into that disclaimer, but I mean, hopefully you got to have that disclaimer in your heart already before you get into the club. And then, but yeah, it's that, once again, we reap the benefits of America, right? And we, we curse that slavery existed, but it's this irony that even within this tragic thing, something beautiful came. Would you rather not be here? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean,
and it's this real challenge to people. So would you rather not be here?
But
Very honestly.
Africa's a beautiful place.
It's beautiful.
A lot of
So
black
we don't know what life
in
would have been
Africa.
like.
Africa would have been popping if we all
But here's the
lived.
thing. Once again, then look what black people did with at our best. What we do with. We take even European culture and improve, you know what I mean? Like, and improve it and for whatever reasons, however the global power structure was, it was important that we become a part of that so that we can, and that's where giving back comes from. People forget, like half of giving back is acquiring, and you can't forget that. You know what I mean? Like giving back isn't a benefit within itself. It's you can't help the poor and be a part of them.
Yeah.
If you don't
acquire something, you don't have anything
exactly.
to give.
And you have to you have to get in order to give back, right? Black people in America being able to, to be capitalist as much, and that's where the responsibility comes from once you acquire. Because then it's like, how else can you give back? Like, where is it coming from? Otherwise, we're asking, and I don't like asking.
Yeah.
And asking hasn't gotten us, we can't ask. We have to demand. We have to kick in doors. And it's like black people, at our best, we don't ask. You know what I mean? Like it's a demand. It's undeniable.
Well, you've been doing a great job acquiring, because clearly your first season. 6 episodes now, you've been renewed for a full entire
How many you got
season.
this time?
13.
13.
I'm 13.
And the Bill Cosby episode is the second episode.
Yeah, we Wednesday night we air what's technically a preview episode, but it's a new episode at 9 or at 10 on NBC, and then Sunday night the Cosby.
Did you get resistance from NBC about the Cosby episode? Like, look, this is still Cosby. He's our guy.
Yeah,
he made a lot of money for us. Be easy.
Yeah, well, not even that they thought that he made a lot of money for him as much as that, it's
disrespect.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's a battle for lawyers, what are the legal, are there any ramifications, in the art, and where's the line, and what can we say?
Yeah.
We got pushback, but I knew it was important to do. I knew the episode
premise
was
is that you
to
get tickets to go see Bill Cosby perform.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit like, why would we go see Bill Cosby knowing what he's done?
Yeah. But also, it's the most direct, immediate way to challenge the talent versus morals,
like, would you go?
Which is from the special. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Now, a lot of comedians are very unhappy people. Are you one of those unhappy comedians?
No,
I don't know that.
Like, a lot of comedians deal with depression.
No, yeah, it's a real battle. I mean, it's the part. Once again, I'm thinking humor is. I mean, some of the smartest people that I know, it's humor, and like. It's acquiring knowledge, right? And the more you know, there's a greater risk of unhappiness because you know a lot. You know what I mean? Like not to what's in the water, and you can't. You know what I mean? The more knowledge you acquire, and I think comedians, some of the best, acquire a lot of knowledge and take on a lot of responsibility, and they're so analytical, and you look at every situation and and trying from every angle, and that's a lot. That's a lot on the human mind.
Speaking of that, after doing the TV show, do you look at your stand-up from all angles now?
But I always did.
Okay.
I always did. The show the show was just it's another outlet for it. I mean, I looked at humor as I was working on the show before the special came out. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these challenges, it's always there. It's just like, I chose for the special the side that I thought would be a bucket of cold water. You know what I mean? But for the show, it's more balanced. Just through format and through the ability to complete the argument. Well, I mean, once again, like the Cosby episode is from a bit of talent versus moral, and these are all arguments that happened in my head while writing that or while creating that bit. And now you just get to hear the other side of it, but it's still from the same source.
What are some other things you'll be discussing this season? I see cheating is on the list.
Cheating's on the list.
What's your thoughts on cheating?
All right, be careful now.
Cheating. I mean,
you don't got a girl, do
the
you?
weird. What's that?
You got a girl?
No, I don't have a girl.
Yeah, you're too young for that, man. Have fun. I tell Pete the same thing. Have fun. Smash everything.
Man, Pete. Yeah, Pete's the coolest guy. No, he's out.
He had a girlfand though.
It didn't work out.
He's like it's like he and I we talk about like you're working a lot, and you just your mind is like in this one place. I mean, I basically live in my office. So I don't think I have time for.
But it's interesting because both Charlamagne and Envy were in very long-term relationships, and that kind of kept you stable.
I think
at a young age.
So here's the thing.
So I don't think there's anything wrong.
The hard thing I think
cheating
is
kept me stable too.
The hard thing I think is entering in the middle of a storm. In the middle of like craziness. I'm not sure how you guys said it, but like for me, it's hard to like actually take your time, to get to know a person and figure out who she is in the middle of like production.
Was 16, so
that's and that's a stability. I think relationships are great, and I think that I with cheating is just me exploring relationships, and it's just like earning it. It's a weird thing and it's just like with culture. Really, the truth is like certain people earn cheating, right? Like a president cheating, on his wife is completely different than. You know what I mean?
I've done a lot.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
Martin Luther King Jr. That's why we don't stress his infidelity.
Why would you be mad at him?
Yeah.
Why would you be mad at Martin Luther King Jr. for cheating? That's silly.
He deserves it.
Stop getting caught up on the small things. The man literally died for you. Let him get a stick.
Now you from North Carolina, right? Born and raised.
North Carolina.
You born there, raised there.
Yeah. You're from South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, we were joking about the phone numbers yesterday.
He called me yesterday and I didn't answer because it was a Carolina number. I'm like, nah, this somebody asked me for money.
Yeah, and I thought it was weird. I just called him, but you called back and it was a South Carolina number. And I have a lot of family there, and I was like, this call is gonna cost me $2,000. Anytime I talk, if I talk to anyone from my childhood, it costs me $2,000.
So how'd you get to LA and all that good stuff?
I had a sister that bought me a one-way plane ticket.
So you knew she didn't like you then. She just said, "Get the hell out of here."
I wanted to do it. I was 19, maybe 20. No, I was 20, and I wanted to do it. And one day, just kind of made the decision, picked a date, August 8th, and I told my sister, and she bought a ticket, and she was like, "You want a round trip?" And I was like, "Nah," because it gives me an escape, and I got a one-way.
The Carmichael show is based in Charlotte. Y'all don't actually film in Charlotte, though, right?
No. We shoot in L.A.
And that's where you was raised, in Charlotte?
No, I chose Charlotte because I'm from Winston-Salem. Charlotte is just a bigger city, and with a show, you always want to have opportunity for blank,
gotcha.
And more things to happen. So I chose Charlotte. Just it's recognizable. I mean, I love Charlotte, but
And you knew from the day one that you wanted to do comedy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, from early on.
Yeah.
From very early on, I knew I wanted an NBC sitcom. Before I knew I wanted to be a stand-up comic, I knew I wanted an NBC sitcom. Because of the arguments, because of that.
I mean, that's powerful to me because we don't have anybody from the Carolinas that I can recall who did that for you to see it and be like, it's possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Which, mind you, I know the comic on. I just realized I don't think I've been funny this whole episode. I'm sure people will be like, I mean, he's a comic. He doesn't tell any jokes. I'm sure the whole time, because I just realized talking to you, like, even when I talk about jokes, it's like I'm dissecting it, and I just like, tell the joke. My apologies to anyone that was like, oh, it's a comic is on. This should be
fun,
hilarious. we won't talk about, the best ways for the black community to acquire wealth. We'll talk about I don't know, but Carolina, you don't see it. You don't see it a lot, and that's my responsibility is to kids that grew up like me.
Well, let's end with a
know
joke.
what your options are.
Know what your options are. Let's end with a joke. Do you still think people on welfare shouldn't be allowed to eat breakfast? He doesn't believe that people on welfare should be allowed to eat breakfast because he feels like, what are they eating for? They don't have nothing to do all day.
The joke is, what are you building up your strength for? It sounds so harsh coming from you.
Come on.
I sound
really
so
harsh.
mean. Charlamagne, it's funny, my jokes become slam poetry when Charlamagne does it. I was like, it was funnier than that.
So you want people on welfare to starve? And
Damn.
Once again, in the context of this very well lit studio, it just sounds so harsh when you say it. Watch the special. It's much friendlier. So I think I smile.
But Jerrod's very funny, man. Watch the Carmichael show Sundays. No, it comes on Wednesday.
Wednesday is a preview, and then Sundays NBC.
What time?
9:00.
Sundays at 9.
Yeah.
All right,
I appreciate
you joining us, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Jerrod Carmichael, baby.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in